The Buffalo Sabres have hit rock bottom, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking to make a trade, and it could happen very, very soon. Welcome to the Anthony Bruno Show. I, of course, am Anthony Bruno. I recently made my return to YouTube after spending a lot of time on TikTok talking sports on there. You can go follow me on TikTok at Anthony M. Bruno as we try to hit 20,000 followers. But I am now officially back on YouTube, and I am bringing you guys a ton of hockey content. So if you want NHL news, opinions, and fantasy hockey content, this is the place to be. And if you enjoy what you're seeing, then I would really, really appreciate it if you hammer that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you know exactly when the Anthony Bruno Show is posting some new content. So right now, let's get into the video. All right, first we need to talk about the Buffalo Sabres because they've hit rock bottom and this is an absolute mess. The Sabres have now lost 11 games in a row and counting. That is insane. Okay, they've been outscored 46-17 over those 11 games and have the worst record in the NHL at 6-17-4, and Buffalo also has the second worst goal differential at -36. Before we go any further, here's a tweet I sent out in 2018 after watching the Buffalo Sabres fail year after year. Can the Sabres somehow screw up a core of Jack Eichel and Rasmus Dahlin? You bet. And of course I got attacked by Sabres Twitter, but guess what? I was absolutely right because this team is a f***ing disaster. The Sabres have now missed the playoffs 9 years in a row and counting, and guess what? It's about to be 10. First, we have Jeff Skinner, who's in the second season of a monster 8-year, $72 million contract, and he has 2 points in 24 games this season. That is just completely unacceptable. It even got to a point earlier this season where the Sabres were making him a healthy scratch. Just a complete mess. And then there's Taylor Hall, who signed a 1-year, $8 million contract with the Sabres in the offseason, betting on himself, betting on the Buffalo Sabres that they would be a good team and that he would have a good season and rebuild his value. As we all know, he's a former Hart Trophy winner, has a ton of skill, but it has been a complete abomination in Buffalo for Taylor Hall, who has 2 goals in 27 games, and only one of those goals has come at even strength. And then we have Eric Staal, who the Sabres traded for in the offseason. You know, they were hoping that he could add some good quality offensive depth to that roster, but Eric Staal has 3 goals in 27 games and is a -18. If you go look at the players with the worst plus-minus in the NHL right now, the bottom 7 spots are all filled by members of the Buffalo Sabres, as you can see from this glorious Masters leaderboard tweeted by Mike Commodore. And leading the way is Sabres' first overall pick in 2018, defenseman Rasmus Dahlin, who is a -27. What an absolute mess. Here's another tweet from Buffalo sports anchor Adam Bonini, who tweeted this out after the Sabres lost 6-0 to the Washington Capitals on Monday night. He said, "Editing highlights tonight and watching again, I don't think in 30 years of covering hockey, I've seen a team play as poor defensively as the Sabres did on TJ Oshie walking around and threw 3 Sabres en route to Backstrom's goal. Just horrible." And if you haven't seen this yet, this is as savage as it gets. The Buffalo News released their NHL Power Rankings, and look where they have the Buffalo Sabres, ranked 32nd on the list. There is currently only 31 teams in the NHL because the Seattle Kraken don't start play until next season. But as you can see here, the Buffalo News has ranked the Sabres below the Seattle Kraken, saying a circus act that deserves to be below a yet-to-start expansion team. Oh my goodness. And tonight the Sabres play the almost as terrible New Jersey Devils, who've lost 12 of their last 14 games. So if Buffalo loses again tonight, I guess they'll sink even lower than rock bottom, if that even exists. All right, let's move on to the Toronto Maple Leafs now, who after getting off to an insane start this season and looking absolutely unstoppable, have now gone into a little bit of a rut as they've lost 5 of their last 6 games. Things were looking amazing for the Leafs when they destroyed the Edmonton Oilers in a 3-game series recently, outscoring Edmonton 13-1 over those 3 games. Leafs Nation was on cloud 9. I myself confidently said that this was the best Leafs team of my lifetime. And then naturally the Leafs do what they do, and since I said that to myself, the Leafs are now 1-5-0 over their last 6 games, and it has a lot of people thinking, what is this team going to do? How are they going to respond? And with the April 12th NHL trade deadline quickly approaching, a lot of people think that the Leafs are going to make a trade, and it appears that they're probably going to make a move to bolster this roster. Leafs reporter Kristen Shilton went on Twitter and said Kyle Dubas said most of the conversations Leafs are having ahead of the trade deadline are forward related. Dubas said, "We had to move out some forwards that were good for us in order to add on the back end, and thus we feel like that's an area where we may want to look at a bit more." And then things got a little bit juicier. Here's Chris Johnston saying Kyle Dubas asked if he's willing to trade a top prospect before this deadline, and the answer is yes. So that has many Leaf fans thinking, could the Toronto Maple Leafs actually trade 2020 first-round pick Rodion Amirov, or perhaps Nick Robertson, or even their 2 best defense prospects in Rasmus Sandin and Timothy Liljegren? Well, according to Kyle Dubas, right now, anything is on the table, and it makes sense when you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs this season, okay? Despite their recent losing streak, they're still one of the best teams in the NHL. They currently have the 8th best record in the league in terms of points percentage. They're still one of the best offensive teams in the league, and even defensively, they have been really, really solid this year. This is a team, as currently constructed, that can really beat any team in the NHL in a 7-game playoff series and has a really good chance to win the Stanley Cup. And as we saw in the offseason, Kyle Dubas really made an effort to bring in veteran guys like Wayne Simmons and Joe Thornton, and they re-signed Jason Spezza. And I'm not saying that those guys are going to move the needle, but it appears that if Dubas wants to bolster the lineup with a proven, experienced veteran forward or defenseman, that he is definitely going to look at moving one of these top prospects for a player like that if it makes sense. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen, but I would actually be pretty stunned if the Leafs didn't make a move at this point. They only play 2 games this week and then 2 games next week, so they have a lot of time off right now, and it would be an ideal time to make a move, especially if they're going to acquire someone from one of the American teams, because as we all know, a player who does join a team via trade is going to have to go through the quarantine process. So it is going to be very, very interesting to see how the Leafs approach this and what moves they make ahead of the trade deadline. That does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you think about the Buffalo Sabres right now and what they should do to get out of this mess. Should they actually consider trading Jack Eichel at this point? And also, I really want you to tell me what you think the Leafs should do ahead of the NHL trade deadline. Should they acquire a forward, a defenseman, and who should they give up and who should they go after? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And as always, I would really, really appreciate it if you smash that like button. And if you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to my channel. And while you're at it, ring the notification bell so you know exactly when I'm posting some new content. So that does it for this video, and I will see you guys next time.